Well, at this point in the school year, high school drama clubs and classes would be rehearsing for a big fall or winter play. With the pandemic, things are different this year as classes, rehearsals, even productions are happening over Zoom.
Students at Sun Prairie High School are preparing monologues for a virtual series titled The Voices of 2020. In this week's Behind the Screens, our Michael Bruno got the opportunity to sit in on one of their rehearsals to see how it all works.
We are a generation of damaged children. At least, that's how it seems sometimes. Most of us were born after 9/11, but we still grew up seeing the footage in school every year. We still were told about the war on terrorism every single day, and yet after all that time, it never seemed to end. It just kept going. I think that's part of why we feel like we are constantly at war.
This monologue is part of our Voices of 2020 fall show, and it was assigned to you. So this isn't your voice, just like a normal monologue that you might be cast in. How have you found connections with this particular character?
It is about a teenager dealing with the reality of COVID and being at home and just being a teenager in this generation, really. And so while this isn't my story, it's been really easy to see that I'm seeing the world in the same way as this character and make it my own.
Get back! We need room to work!
Every day, my phone pings with more bad news, more lies, more hate, more bile spewing from the belly of what is supposedly America. I say supposedly because this is not the America I thought I knew, not the country where I have grown up and played and learned and become an adult. Perhaps I was sheltered. I didn't understand that my America might not be your America too.
What about you, Chris? How do you feel about your monologue? Are you connecting with it, or have you had any major struggles as you've been going through and really analyzing what these words are saying?
My monologue is very powerful. I think it's beautifully written. I don't have a hard time connecting with the character at all, mostly because the character portrayed in the lines is very similar to who I am as a person anyways. Just going through the monologue, the first thing I always want to do is I want to figure out the pacing of and how I can portray the character in a real emotional sense, like figuring out the way I want to pause and what words I want to put emphasis on, I think is extremely important because it can help me take a beautifully written piece and translate that into a beautifully said piece. And I think that it does justice to the author and it does justice to the piece.
Right now, in 2020, we are witnessing a global pandemic, an incredibly frustrating but important election, and a movement against racism. There have been so many times where I have been feeling angry and helpless and heartbroken. And the people who made me feel better every single time were my generation. Not just my friends, not just my family, but Generation Z as a whole. We are indeed a generation full of damaged children. But do you know what else we are? We are fighters. We are survivors. We are strong and restless, and we will not just stand by and watch history. And do you want to know why? Because we will shape it and we will change it.
No one has separated me from my parents and locked me in a cage or told me I don't belong and to go back where I came from. I don't have to worry about being sent back to a country that has never been mine simply because of my last name or who my parents are. If I get sick, whether with COVID or just a cold, I know I can go to the doctor and not have to struggle with debt for years simply because I needed healthcare. I have a home and food and don't ever have to wonder where I will wake up or where I will find my next meal. All those pings on my phone never alert me that the president has said that I'm a criminal or terrorist or that I don't deserve rights or that my life doesn't matter or anything else that would show me that in this America, my voice and my existence matter less. But when I look in the mirror, I see this face, a face of privilege, a face that makes my America different. I don't want my America and your America to be different. I want our America to be a place where no matter who you see in the mirror, you are treated with value, love, respect, and have the rights that we all should be able to take for granted.
We grew up reading books and watching TV and movies that told us the responsibility to take on corrupt governments and to take on the responsibility to protect freedom was put on children. It was these movies that taught us we were supposed to be the heroes and what it meant to be one. To be a hero, you have to be true to yourself. To be a hero, you have to protect the ones you love. To be a hero, you have to protect freedom. You have to protect rights. So it's no wonder that when you see kids our age dying in school shootings, or Black men, women, and children being gunned down by police, we protest, we march, and we sign petitions like our lives depend on it, because honestly, they do.
Wow, Michael Bruno joining us now. Pretty powerful.
Hi, Michael.
It's just so amazing that these are high school students, and it's just so encouraging to know that they're getting the opportunity to speak their truths like this and still continue on. It's really astonishing. And these are just two of the monologues that they're putting together for this the show in November.
This was
really
an assignment,
amazing.
right? This was an assignment, and they wrote their own monologues.
They had the choice. They could either write their own and act their own, or they could write it and somebody else could act it. So these two students that we just saw today are actually reading somebody else's monologues that they were assigned to them. So they did not write the ones. There were other students that wrote it, and these two are acting out. So they had the opportunity to either write and speak their own, or to write and have somebody else do it.
High school students wrote those?
Yes. Yeah, some very high school students.
Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, pretty amazing.
The Voices of 2020 web series opens Wednesday, November 18th at 7:30. You can watch the performances on the Sun Prairie Schools website. It's free, but donations are welcome. All right, Michael, you ready?
Yes, indeed.
3, 2, 1. It's
Friday. Hi, Jim.
scary.
We wish we're doing our traditional Halloween show this year. We wish we could have you on the patio.
Oh, I miss it so much.
I know, so do we. Maybe, hopefully next year.
Well, we have some highlights from years past.
We do.
All right, thanks, guys.
Have a good weekend.
Be safe.